Hello Scorpio, welcome back to my channel The Vibes Inside. I am Marianne and I'm ready here to do your next reading. So when I sat down here, normally sometimes I feel some energies come in and it was a bit blurred here for me. I just felt like I have to just talk myself warm, like I just have to talk or do something, then it comes. Sometimes with Scorpio it is like that, because you can be quite hidden, right? You can really put a lid over something, or really just hide stuff and people can't see it. You can dive very deep. You can go so deep that nobody else can follow, right? And this is what I feel like, that there's something here. So while I was shuffling, I had some incoming message like I put forth my intention before while I shuffle and kind of tune to that energy, right? And my intention for these readings, and have been for a long time, is the highest possible outcome for Scorpio, the best possible outcome, the most abundant, positive, or helpful, you could say, that's my intention for the reading. Something helpful, something positive, something abundant, something that is the highest, best possible scenario or situation for Scorpio, right? And then I got something like, yes, but the best, highest outcome is maybe not what Scorpio wants. Meaning that what we want from an ego perspective is not maybe what is best for you. Like, this sounds really parent-like. Now I get the feeling of being a parent, right? Like, sugar is not good for you, my dear, right? You should drink water instead, right? It is that kind of feeling, it could be the feeling of sobering up about something, like, it would be maybe best to sober up, but actually right now you really want this drink, right? Do you get my point? Like, our ego may be consumed with something, maybe our emotions, maybe an emotional problem or challenge in some way, maybe a grief or a loss, and because of that we do something here, even though we may know that it's like maybe not in the best interest, or in the long term maybe this is not for the best, Sometimes we even do something here without knowing what this is. Like, we have no clue that if I just turned my head over here, I could actually maybe find something of great value here. But I stay here, right? And because I stay here, I don't see, and now I get like the Four of Cups feeling, right? The Four of Cups, someone sitting under the tree, focusing on the three cups that they hope are still standing. It could be a feeling of hoping for some kind of love situation to return or to come back, missing something, and not seeing that the divine is trying to offer you a fourth cup, right? But you have all your focus on this one thing. So you don't even see it. Like, the divine is trying to offer you a way out, or a new perspective, or a new emotion, or a new person perhaps, that could add maybe, a bit of diversity to your situation. Like, it could add another angle, right? Now I get something like poles. I get like north, south, east, and west. If you have north and south and east, right, it's like you miss west. You have 3 of them, and the divine is offering you a 4th. That now, when you get west, or you get the 4th perspective, now you have an entirety. Now it's like a puzzle piece. Do you know, like you sit here and you have your puzzle and you have these three sets of puzzle pieces. But something is not, like it's not showing up for you. The result is not showing up for you because something that you haven't even thought about, or you have disregarded it, or you haven't looked at it, it actually would add the final piece, right? Again, this feeling of the divine coming in, offering something. It cannot force you to take it. It can show it to you. You're the one who has to figure this out. You're the one who has to figure out what is it that the divine is trying to offer me here. When it comes from the divine, again, we are now talking about something that, well, potentially this could be non-form. Like this could be an intuitive thing. It could be a dream, when you sleep. A message in your dream. It could be, maybe you meet a person, like quite randomly, and you don't know exactly why, or and you just have this conversation. Maybe they bring forth some kind of gathering where you have an experience with something, and maybe you do not like it, right? Maybe initially you are so focused on your 3 puzzle pieces here, or your 3, you would say 3 of the 3 cups can also talk about like 3 different love stories, 3, you would say, memories of, or 3 experiences in love that have all kept you waiting or ghosted, or you sit under the tree waiting. I get 4 of cups here, like being occupied, you could say, occupied in your mind, in your thought, your feelings about a situation that it seems like you have multiple experiences with the same kind of energy that keeps you occupied somehow. It occupies you to the point that you sit there under the tree, stagnant or procrastinating because of it. You're not taking any other action, maybe in love, because it keeps you occupied. Maybe you have the same kind of trouble with partners. You start something, it's wonderful. You end it because it gets terrible. You start again, it's wonderful. You end again, it's terrible. Maybe have a look at the Libra reading also. There's a bit of a similar, or an energy that kind of passes through maybe all of the readings, right? It starts with the Aries, then it kind of just, it evolves through the readings somehow. Maybe have a look at the Libra reading. It talks a lot about this also. And you sit there and you're trying to look at the relationships like, but where did I go wrong? What was so bad about this? It felt so good in the beginning. Why should it end so badly? Why should they cheat on me? Or why did I cheat on them? Like what happened since it evolved like that? And now the divine is trying to offer you something maybe entirely different. But you're not even looking, you're very occupied with this, So maybe there's something like that going on, or it has been, you're still in it perhaps, or you've realized it. You realize that there's something off in my way, how I somehow like my antenna for love is not really working that well. You know, like there's something off here. Because I seem to repeat a pattern, maybe. It could be 3 different people in your life. Maybe, you know, it could be, let's say, a sibling, a mother, and an ex-partner, perhaps. It doesn't have to all be ex-partners. But you take a look at the relationships maybe in your life, and you see how it's like the 4 of Cups is always a card of reminiscing, missing something, hoping maybe something would come back. You could revive something or, rekindle something. Could be a memory of someone from your past, you know, someone you met at some point, maybe even all the way back to childhood. Maybe it's a child friend, you know, but missing or reminiscing about certain days when the cups were standing. There was still water in them. The next card after the 4 of Cups is the 5 of Cups. This is where the cups are spilled. Now there's nothing left. It's done, right? It's died. It's over. When we are still in the 4 of Cups, we still hope. We still we hope something would return. We hope something would show up. We hope that we can figure this out. We hope that it's that they come back, or we hope it was just a phase, you know, and then it will be over, and then we can continue again, right? That's that kind of feeling. And this is where we are occupied with that. Like, this is what we think about. This is what our mind can seem to let go of. And therefore we will not be open to something else that comes in. It's like it's because we are still invested in it. We are still too invested, you could say, to have an open mind about something else. This is the problem if you actually want to meet a new person, right? Or that you finally realize, maybe I can't rekindle this. Maybe it won't come back. That if you're still occupied somehow here, and it's like you can't let it go somehow, the openness to something new is not quite there. Maybe, you know, for sexual encounter perhaps, but for the heart connection, maybe not quite. And you are deep feeler, Scorpio, right? So this is maybe difficult. Like, you know, there can be other ways of having fun. There are other ways of, you know, engaging with other people, but with the heart, it's different. So this is kind of the scenario I pick up on. And again, you know, it's like I didn't have this incoming feeling of something. Normally I do have something that comes in, like a message or something. I didn't really have it. It showed up when I start shuffling here. I really, like, and I think it's because there is an unwillingness to look over here or at this secondary thing or this other thing that tries to present itself. There is maybe a bit of a reluctancy or reluctancy. I don't know. Maybe it's you know, like, because you may still be occupied, there is a non-readiness, like there is a not ready feeling to something potentially new here. Does that make sense? Like, maybe you know that the right, again, I have this, maybe you know that the right thing would be to move on. I let this go. It's probably done. I'm not sure it's coming back. I will leave it in the past, and I should probably do this instead. I should concern myself about this. I should probably, that would be a better choice for me. Maybe I would find more joy here than I would find here, but it's just, it seems like it's not done somehow. So whether this is a grief or a, well, I believe that if we've, if you are aware that maybe I should, like this would be a better choice. Maybe you have friends who tell you that also, let it be, it's done, it's over, it won't come back, they won't come back, it won't be this, and even if they came back, it won't be the same, right? After this, after this breakup you had, it won't be the same, why don't you just leave it in the past and try to date again or to do this again, right? But it feels a little bit unfinished over here. I get that feeling like it's unfinished somehow. And I don't know, well, you're a fixed sign, Scorpio. Maybe you want to fix that, right? This idea that it's unresolved or not done or not finished, maybe you would like it to be before something else. And then you can stay very occupied in that if there is no way of finishing it. I don't know what that is. Again, is it because it's like you miss a puzzle piece? Like without them, it's like there is a puzzle piece not fully laid out. Without this person or without this extra thing, this feeling or this sense of belonging or something, without this love, it's like my puzzle piece is, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Something like that. It's like they represent something that is it's like I'm not the full version of me to go out and date again. I'm still hurt, maybe. It's like, not quite, but an example, right? It's like you have lost a limb. So if you have to present yourself now to the world, you feel that you are not whole enough. That you should have that arm or leg to be adequate or is it a feeling of being flawed in some way, that there is something that is not? Now I get fraud, like if I can't show up with all my limbs, I'm a fraud. It's like I show up, but I have put on a prosthetic arm. So I'm faking who I am. It's like putting on a mask of some kind. If I can't get this right, me right, then and I try to go out here again, it's going to be fake, right? It's like you figured something out about maybe some relationships, and you know that it's like if I can't put myself together, or if I don't have this extra puzzle piece, it's like I go out there missing a limb. So I will have one leg and two arms, right? And people will see that. Like it's almost like you have become, you don't want to hide it, but you also don't want to show it, right? You don't want to hide that you are in some kind of process, and at the same time you don't want them to see, right? Because you're not ready for them to see. Does that make sense? It's like being in a process of something, healing maybe, or figuring yourself out in some way. And if I show up like this, honest and vulnerable and everything, I'm not full or whole, or maybe the feeling that I don't have something to offer, or I don't have, I'm a I don't know, I'm ill, or I'm sick, or I'm incomplete. So if I show up like that, maybe I could be rejected, that even if I hear this, that there is some incoming extra cup here from the divine, let's say you're reminded about someone that you actually miss a lot, right? And the divine is coming in with this intuitive thing, maybe look this way, right? And it's like, but I'm not something that can align with this over here, right? This over here is not something I can align with, because in some way I am not ready or incomplete in some way. Like there is a piece missing of me, or it can be confidence, right? Maybe you feel like to do this over here, to take this cup, or to go this way, or to make this phone call, or to try to reach out. I feel it would be fraud, or I'm incomplete. In some way. Or that I'm something that I said it was the feeling of like missing a limb. It could also be the feeling that when you look at the yin and yang symbol, there is a white and there is a dark side. So the white is the yang, the black side is the yin. But in everyone, in each of them, there is a polarity. So in the yin, in the black yin, there is a white spot of yang. In the yang, there is a black spot of yin. It's almost that feeling. It's like I should be all white with no black spot, you know. I shouldn't have this spot. I shouldn't have this unfinished thing. Again, now I get something like, it doesn't have to be, it's an illustration, right? It's like, if I didn't had that sentence, you know, it's an example, right? So when I was younger, I did a criminal thing. I got a sentence. But you know, that sentence is now this spot on my reputation, or it's I did nude photographs when I was 14 for some kind of magazine to earn some money, right? But today, now when I look at it, I shouldn't have done that, right? This one thing is like it's what makes me limbless, or it's what covers that limb with a special kind of flavor or tune, you know. And I don't like that tune about myself. It's like a thing that I would take it off if I could, or I would throw it out if I could, but it's like I can't. Like maybe it's a human thing, right? That human is flawed. We are not perfect. We are imperfect beings. Even if you try to do good, in some people's eyes, you are actually maybe doing bad, right? You will never have a perfect, all-compensating good deed. Some will at some point maybe not like it, right? It depends on worldviews and a lot of different kinds of values. So there's this feeling of, you know, I have sobered up my life, I have done all of this, but there's this one thing that I may have done in my past that I can't undo or repair, and it's always going to be on my resume, right? It's always going to be in my memory. I know I have done this, or I know this is, you know, it could be something like I left the home when my children were young, and now they are teenagers, and I see and get the reaction of them when I see them, that they are frustrated or they are angry with me, right? That I left, that I wasn't there. But it's a situation that I can't go back in time and fix it, right? I may be here now, but I can't go back and fix it. I did leave. That's true. I did leave, right? I did leave the home. I wasn't there. I left. I left them feeling abandoned or rejected, and now they are, you know, sitting in that spin of aftermath, and I can feel their anger, right? I can feel their rejection of me now. I can feel that, right? But it's like, what am I supposed to do, right? I can't go back and fix it. I can let you know I'm here now. I can let you know that I'll do my very best, but I can't undo that. So I stand here now as a parent, but yes, I did something, or I'm flawed in their eyes, right? I may be flawed in someone's eyes because of something here. Because of something, I may be flawed. And I can't seem to undo that. or I can't seem to overcome that feeling that it gives me, right? It gives me a feeling of inadequacy, of being flawed, of being imperfect. You know, it's doing something to my confidence, and it's like facing a judgment from something. That there is some kind of judgment on you. Maybe from outside, as I said, maybe children, maybe partners or something, and you can't seem to. It could be if you have been cheating, right? Maybe you've done it one time, right? And it's like maybe it was found out, and because of that, you know, you can't undo it. You can try to do everything you can to fix it, but it's like there's this piece that never gets fixed. It's like unfixable, you know. Like there's a thing that feels unfixable, that may have to do with other people's opinion of you, right? That they had certain expectations and maybe you couldn't deliver, right? So again, the feeling of being flawed or something. And being very occupied with trying to figure this out. How can I fix something unfixable? Well, if you stay in a situation where people will not forgive you, for instance, that they keep having the same projection and accusations, and you know, sending you this message that you are flawed in some way, and because of that they will never forgive you. You know, they will never forgive you for being this imperfect partner. Where you shared this kind of, you know, experience somehow. They were there and you were there, and something somehow happened where you may not have shown up as perfect as they wanted you to be. And now they keep sending you this message. And again, if you feel your heart is in this, again, I had this feeling of the Four of Cups. This is an emotional thing. It has to do with your water, your deep water, your deep love for someone. And because of it, you stay in some kind of contact here. Maybe it's not that close as it was once, but you're still somehow connected maybe with this person or these people here. But they keep sending you rejection, or they keep sending no, right? No, I don't want to deal with you. No, 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 right? And you kind of hang on here. Again, it could be your children, right? It could be a dynamic where where someone has the upper hand somehow. And for some reason, I feel like it's not you, which is, well, upper hand. Maybe that's, now I talk about a power struggle, right? It's not necessarily a power struggle in that way. This is a very sad situation, actually. It feels like there is a lot of maybe grief or regret or an attempt to want to solve it. But you see, you want to solve it, they don't. You know, you may feel like you are inadequate, but they are too, right? They are not ready to forgive. They are not ready to open. They are not ready to try again. They are hurt. They are, frustrated or angry. You may feel like you are flawed in some way and trying to fix it. They are hurt by something. They don't want to fix it. You want to try to attempt to have contact. They are denying the contact. In this situation, it's like there is not a current ability to find common ground. For now, you're kind of opposites. It may feel like they have the upper hand because it's all about their forgiveness. It's all about them saying you can come back or forgiving you, and you can try again. As long as they close the door, it's like you can try again and again, but it's not working. Sometimes space could be a good thing here. Sometimes maybe a bit of distance could be a good thing because it allows them to process as well. I have so much about yin and yang on my channel, I can't even describe how much. And again, this is what I feel like. We have someone wants to fix something, of course, and it's because it makes you feel like terrible, right? It's like this thing that I would like to erase, but I can't erase it without this one's forgiveness, perhaps. So now you see your situation is now dependent on someone else's forgiveness, which you may never get. Or someone else's approval, or someone else's, adoration, or someone else's acceptance, or someone else's respect, or something. There's this one thing, or maybe there are more, but there is at least one thing that you would like to change. Because if you could change that, it would make you feel great again. It will make you feel whole. It will make you feel also, because then something is repaired here. If they could open up and you can figure it out together, working on something together, it would be a relief for you, maybe for them too, but it would be a process. But it would give you relief, so you have something to gain from this. Right now, they don't feel they have anything to gain. Maybe only more hurt, more pain, right? They don't trust you. So they are not open. So they've shut the door here. Maybe that's why, I had this feeling like there was nothing coming in when I sat down, because it could be the feeling that you are engaging with a closed door, right? That there's no contact, or even gray rock, or a sense of a distancing, no contact, a gray rock feeling. Like they're not communicating, they won't let you know anything. Maybe, a feeling of like there's no activity on social media, you can't find out anything, right? That you are kind of cut off from something. And because you are cut off from it, you can't fix it. You can't fix this thing. So now you are in this spin, right? It's like you are stuck because someone has the key here. They are the key to your relief. or your completeness, or your confidence maybe, or does this make sense? That's kind of the scenario I get here. It's the feeling of that something is incomplete, not full, it's flawed in some sense. Or there are hacks in it, you know, it's and it's like it's up to someone else. Or that could be the scenario, like you feel you are, that it's in someone else's power to give you that relief, or accept you again, or respect you again, or for you to feel loved again, or for you to be appreciated or adored, or you know, whatever that is. There's this hole or void, or this spot, that this thing that is, it has become and I talked about in your last reading, Scorpio, I talked about the non-form, and there can be many good things found in non-form, but this is also non-form. This is like a bitterness, like an energetic ball of compressed invalidation. You know, it's this thing. It's like a thing hovering in between you. It's an energetic hovering ball of discontent here, or sadness, or something that is in between you and someone else here. And it has no form. It can be bitterness, right, from one perspective, and you know, remorse from the other, but these two together becomes this thing, this non-form block in some way between you, right? And you're not on the same wavelength at this point in time. You both come from different perspectives on this. That's what I feel like. And it cannot just be undone. And this is what I feel you would like. You would like something to just be undone. And then we can have this beautiful flow here. But on the other side, they want to remain it. Like they want to keep it up. They are not ready to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to give anything to you. They are disappointed. They are bitter. They are hurt. They are in pain, perhaps. They don't want anything. They are keeping it up. They keep the door shut here. So you are not on a wavelength for now. You know? No matter how much you want it, as I said in the beginning, what you want is maybe not best for you in the long run. What you want is maybe not what you can achieve at the moment, right? The best scenario right now for you at the moment is maybe not what you want. It's because it can give you relief. Maybe they don't want you to have relief. Maybe they want to have revenge. They want to make you hurt in the same way they are hurting. So they won't give you an access to any kind of relief. Does that make sense? They are not ready for that. Maybe it's too soon, or as I said, you want the relief, they don't. They actually want to uphold it. Like the tension, the drama. The best thing for you in this scenario is not maybe what you want or what you feel you long for. and it has been put on this person or this thing. I don't know, maybe this is work. I don't put that into your scenario, but I get more like, like enmeshed family drama or romantic partner drama here. I get something like that. So it's highly emotional. It's in the scorpionic realm of non-form. It has this, it's like this organic, like black hole that just sucks everything in. Someone keeping it up, and you're trying to break it down, right? And you can be very occupied in that. This can be a never-ending story. The more you try, the more they keep it up. The more you attempt to get your, all your maybe apologies or something through, the more they keep it up because they don't want to hear it. They don't care about it. They don't care if you're hurting because you've hurt them, right? So it's like a never-ending story. I would suggest for you to give this space, to just let them be. But it leaves you in a space of agony then. It leaves you in a space of needing to look at this. Like it haunts you, or is it agitates you and is a constant reminder of something you did wrong somehow. And the key to unlock this is now in the hands of someone else who don't want to, work with you or help you here. So the power is in someone else's hand. The only way to change this dynamic is to take that power back, that it's not supposed to be in their hands. You have to deal with your own agony. You have to deal with the pain of something. Like, to fix this, you could say, it's your problem, you would say. It has nothing to do with them. You can ask yourself, why is their opinion more important than yours? Their way of judging you becomes now more important than your own, you could say, your own way of conducting yourself. I don't know what this is, right? Maybe it's nothing criminal, maybe it's not cheating, maybe it's not leaving, I don't know what, but there is this sense of being accused about something, and you can't change it. Maybe you are not even aware what this exactly is. Then that's even more terrible, right? Maybe you don't even know exactly what this is. You just know that they have retrieved, or they have gone, that they have put up a wall. You may not even know what it is. Then it's even more terrible. Now you don't even know what it is you need to fix then. And the wall is a constant reminder that there's something about you that is off or wrong. So how do you figure out what that is? And if you try to keep attempting to have a breakthrough with them, have a connection with them, eventually it's probably changing you. I guess it could change your behavior. You could become more, careful maybe. Careful what you say, walking on eggshells, you know, this like I don't know exactly what I can do or to fix something. I don't know how to, maybe I don't even know what it is. But it all comes down to the forgiveness of someone here. And if they keep up the barrier, you will not have it. You will not get that apology or this, the forgiveness or something. And it can shape the way you act, right? It can shape you, like walking on eggshells, being careful about what you say, avoiding any kind of further drama. It could influence your behavior. That something else is now in charge. So it has power over you. And for some reason, you can sit with the feeling that they might be right? The thing I did once was a downhill spiral. I did do that. Or you may not even know what it is, right? That they are accusing you of here. They just give you a cold shoulder. They turn their head away. They have left, You may not even know what it is. You just know that there is some kind of tension here that it's held up. It's still there. It's still present. Yeah. Let's have a look here. 6 of Gabriel in the center of the card. 6 of Wands. It says here, congratulations, you've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project, awards, scholarship, or promotions. Somehow I get the feeling that this is a card, I feel like it's a bit of an advice, right? That the thing you have been, either you're the one upholding something here. So, maybe the characters are switched here. Maybe you are upholding some kind of block to something here. Or you have come to the realization that what you are holding, that something had power over you and you're just letting them be. Like maybe you allow this distance. You're not contacting them. I said, the thing that you want may not be in your best interest. For the highest possible best for you is not to pursue this. Pursuing it is keeping you in this ongoing hamster wheel or this ongoing occupied thinking with someone else who is now in charge of your entire well-being. I get it if you have been very codependent, are very codependent. I think we all are to a certain point. It's difficult to just let this be. Let them have this time. Let them be alone. Let them figure something out on their own here. It's difficult. We would like to run and knock on the door and break down the door and get in. We would like them to forgive us now. We would like them to give us relief somehow. But maybe they don't, This can be an estranged parent. You left home young and you never returned because you had this misunderstanding or you had this thing going on between you, right? And it has never been resolved. But staying over here and allowing them to have this space is maybe a sense of hell for you, right? It could be the feeling that you have been sitting in your own hell here. Because this thing, you can't undo it, right? You can call yourself all kinds of stuff here. You can become a very big sinner here. Like have an identity like that. That I'm flawed, I'm imperfect, I'm not good enough, I'm a sinner, I'm a terrible person, I should have done differently, I should have known, I should have blah, 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 right? And you can keep yourself very occupied with that, how bad you are or something here, right? Because that's what they are projecting, that you are bad in some way. I think you are probably just what you are. But when you come, when you meet up with someone who may have other values than you, they may have other standards, they may have, maybe they can't, they can look through the fact that we are imperfect beings. Like maybe they expect perfectness from you, right? Maybe they are very virtuous or something. Maybe they have like really high expectations. They have very well, you are how you are. Like you have your way of dealing with something, right? And I feel like with this card, it tells me a little bit like you have, like the Six of Wands is typically a card of, we see a warrior coming back from the battle, successful, like he has, won. He's won the battle, or he has returned alive, right? He has returned alive. He is cheered on by his peers from the village. They have defended the castle. They have defended the country. They are successful. They come back and are appreciated. They are congratulated. They are cheered on. People are happy to see them, right? They have conquered something, or they have battled their way through something and is now victorious, has come back from we could even say, it could be the feeling that you have battled your own demons here. Like you have battled your own, a problem here, that you have somehow overcome your problem. Like finding a way to not engage anymore with this and finding some kind of resolution here for yourself. As I said, it's like taking the power back. If you sit here, it could be the feeling, well, I recognize I may not be perfect. I recognize that I could have done something bad in the past. But maybe I've never said that I would be perfect, right? Maybe I've never entered a contract of wanting or needing to be perfect. Maybe I had irrational behavior due to some kind of emotional problem in my life, a depression or other kinds of stuff. And yes, I did something, right? And I can't necessarily undo that. But I know now, I have figured this out. I have gotten myself sober, or I have gotten myself out of that. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not choosing this anymore. If you will not allow me to show you that, then I can't do anything about that. I choose to heal from this. You may stay stuck over here and be in pain and hurting and resentful, but I'm choosing not to engage with that. I may need to live with this certain thing, but it's maybe part of being human. Or maybe I was very young, right? Maybe I was even a child when this happened. I had no idea how much of a turmoil this would even, bring about. Maybe I did this in an innocent matter. Children can do that, right? They can break a window or a vase or something. They had no idea that this would be such a problem, right? But they found out after. After they found out that the door was closed, right? And they can't undo that. The vase is broken. The window is broken. I don't know. There is a door, there is a hole in the door, or it is done, right? We can't necessarily go back and fix that. So the resolution or the power or the congratulations here is the retrieving back, the attempt of knocking in the door to retrieve from that and to figure out how you can, you could say, forgive yourself maybe, like come to some kind of understanding that you are not supposed to be perfect. And you could say, if you have done something over here and it was done in an innocent matter, you had no idea that this could be such a big thing. Maybe you did have an idea. That's another thing, right? But maybe you didn't. And if you didn't know, it's like, okay, you're judging me for something, but I had no clue. I really didn't know that this was such a big deal for you. I didn't know that. So you see, I plead, I plead, maybe not the fifth, but I plead a sense of unknowingness, right? I plead unknowingness about this situation. So you have to find a way to advocate for your own situation. Even if you have done something, you say, immoral or criminal, or you were a cheater, or some would call you a sinner, you have to find a way to advocate for those so-called sins that someone else is now projecting on you here. Because the projection has to do with them. It has to do with their values, their expectations of you, their thought patterns, their belief systems, and they may not at all be like yours. You may have other priorities, you may have other worldviews, you may have other ways of seeing things. Maybe you are much more emotional, they are not. Like their value is something else. But the point is that there's this thing going on between you that can't seem to be solved with them. As I said, it feels unfixable. As long as they have their door shut, you can't fix it. So you have to find resolution on your own. And for some reason, I feel like if you're not having it yet, you're getting there. The Six of Gabriel is like a victory over something. So if you look at the front picture for these readings, I have like these hands. I see them a bit like the God hands. And then there's this clock in the middle it all represents the sense of divine timing, God's speed, things like that. The sense that you are in a process of a change right now, and that goes very well with Scorpionic energy of rebirth, transformation, rebirth. I have for these round of readings a black candle here with a white core, but a black candle which I normally don't use on my channel, but somehow I felt there's something in the air right now that is really wanting to push something forward, like a transformation of some kind, like a big move in some sense. So big energies is moving at the moment. Not just for you, Scorpio, I feel in general like a big pull of something. And so there can be big realizations, big changes, big epiphanies, big new moves, or at least, awareness about something. So advocating for your own story, advocating for your own situation, maybe advocating for your, you could say, youth innocence, or finding a way to advocate for your own story. Finding a way to, you could say, forgive yourself here. The forgiveness that you want over here, even if they came and said, okay, I forgive you then. Is it truly giving you the release? Do they really have the key? And you can also ask yourself to stay occupied here, being very occupied with this. It is a situation of procrastination. It's like you feel frozen, that you can't take action unless something happens here. You can't heal unless. You can't move unless something. So it's a way of staying put. Like I'm stuck here. I'm in a prison. I sit here and I can't move. In what way is that a good thing? For some reason, sometimes when we sit and are stuck like this, there can be you could say, there can be a part of you advocating for that as well. That says, maybe it's safer to just stay here. Because if I actually got the release, if I did get the key and I could unlock this prison of mine, what would I do then? What plan would I have? Where would I go? What new thing would I do? And sometimes that freedom is big. It's a big thing. If I'm not in some kind of tie with this person, what am I then supposed to do? Now I'm untied. There's nothing holding me. There's nothing that keeps me in place. Sometimes this tie comes with a sense that, especially if you have done something, this flawed thing of yours is really bad. It's something that if this voice is not here, like this voice from over here, if it's not here, I could do it again. I could, if this somehow is excused, I could do it again. And for some reason I know that I could do it again. Maybe, what if I end up here again? And the only thing that keeps me from maybe not ending up there again is this voice, right? As long as this voice is here and I feel so terrible about it, I would never do it again, right? I would never. So the non-resolution is maybe also keeping you in a place that is safer, but maybe not. You're safe to a certain extent. Does that make sense? Like, like this grip that someone has on you is the reason why you don't drink. Or it's the reason why you're not gambling all your money away. It's the reason why you go to work every day. But if they somehow untied them, if they forgave you and just moved on, and you stood there, now all free, that there's nothing that has this judgment over you. Do you get my point? It's like if something has a judgment that you comply to, it can keep you in. It can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? It can be very domineering, but it can maybe also contain you in some way, right? It can contain you so that you won't just flow freely, you could say, because if you flow freely, maybe you would go and drink again. Maybe you would go and do drugs again. Maybe you would. Do you get my point? That there can be this thing that advocates for having this tie, that actually wants it to stay, even though it also feels terrible. You want the relief, but actually maybe you don't want it. Or as I said, maybe you want the relief, but if you get the relief, what then? What then? Some people, they prefer to stay in jail. Even though the jail is jail, you are put in a box, because they know that if they get out, it's only a matter of time they will end up here again. Like the routine of jail, even though it is restricted, even though it is restricted in one or another way, they prefer that. Or some people, they prefer to be in a relationship or a marriage that is maybe a bit restrictive, or maybe a lot restrictive. They prefer that to being single. Because if they're single, they can't seem to have anything together. If you are quite unorganized, like if your emotions are all over the place, you can't seem to find that containment or that sense of safety or structure or something, in your life, then this containment can, and this is where I feel like the opposite could represent that kind of containment for you, right? That they may, like make sure you have your roof over your head, money is paid and food on the table and something. And you would rather have that than not have it, because then you had to do it all by yourself somehow. So staying in this tie or something is, it's bad in some way, but good in another way. Does that make sense somehow? There are polarities in this, yin and yang in this, right? That there's good and bad, or there's obvious good things, and then there are these shadowy other kinds of things going on in this relationship. And for some reason you have success here. Maybe you have success with dealing with your own situation, getting your act together, or maybe you find a way to break down this wall here, or because you give them space, they may open up and ask you back in, or allowing something else to go on here. maybe you find peace with an unfixable situation, and that is the conquest here. This is the win, or the success, or whatever you may call it. Again, I said with the God's speed or the divine timing, maybe you don't feel that it's here yet. But I feel like, again, it's molding. It's something that is, it's like this organic thing. Again, I said this, it's like there's this, between you, there's this tension ball of something. And maybe you're kind of figuring out how to release it somehow, right? So that it's not there yet, or at least it's not there from your side. From your side, you no longer feel the need to solve this. Maybe they do, I don't know, but you no longer feel the need to solve it. If you can get to that point that you don't no longer feel the need to solve this, you take some of the tension away. So I have wild woman here. So wild woman always represents for me a sense of a transformational period. When the woman goes wild here, it's because she's forced to, typically. Like she's in a process where she can't breathe, right? And this makes her spin. It makes her go into her, like she can't stay there. It's going to suffocate her. So the wild woman would do something. Maybe she would do something that is out of the norm. Maybe she would do something crazy. Maybe she would do something transformative. As I see the wild woman, she can be an energy worker here. She can be a shaman, having fire rituals in the forest, dancing around naked. I don't know, dancing around naked, right? Because she has to move energy, the energy of stagnant, codependent, fearful energy is unstable. You can't stay there. Like, that is an unbearable feeling of being stuck with something you can't fix. If you can't fix it, at least you have to change it then. We say that energy, in physics, we say that energy can't be killed. It can be destroyed, but it can be changed. So if you feel an energy or a tension between you and someone else here that seems unfixable, if it feels unfixable, it would be the feeling of fire that is stagnant. Fire that we have fire here, right? Fire that can't move. And fire has to move. Like fire, if you have anger in you, you can't just sit with that anger. It has to have an outlet. Whether you hit something, you run, you take a quick, a very quick run, but something, you have to do something with that energy. You can't just sit with it. Then it festers. It feels like it burns in you, and you get, it's like a meltdown. So you can't have that. Usually when we get angry, we hit something, or we punch something, or we punch a pillow, or we scream, or we yell, or something. It has to have an outlet. That's a thing. We need to get it out somehow. We need to get it moving. We need to do something about it. So the wild woman is, for me, that expression. It's an expression of, I want to solve something with something else, but I can't. So I'm on my own with this. So to deal with it on my own, I have to do something like different. I can't seem to fix it with this other polarity of mine. So to not be burned here by this, my own anger or frustration or pain or grief here, I have to do something else. I have to move my energy in some way. So I don't know what you are doing here. It's the left card, so it can talk about a period that you have been in. Usually it can represent the past, immediate past, a period where you have been the wild woman, like you could have been a high priestess here. You could have been trying to, as I said, advocate for your own story, for your own position, for your youth or your innocence in this matter, for your unknowingness in this matter, for your different beliefs in this matter. You know, being in a process where you are molding and doing something that is helping you to overcome the fire here, to overcome some of these very painful feelings, or shameful, or guilt tripping, or, you know, it's all feelings that are very problematic and frustrating to deal with when you can have no outlet, or when you can have no, there is no other that you can ping pong with about this, right? Because this other has closed the door. So you are on your own now, dealing with this kind, and I get this organic molding kind of shifting, and like the tension between you and someone else is fire too, right? It's electricity, like zzz, and you have to get it out of your system somehow. You have to change it, mold it into something else that is at least more bearable. It's more processable for you. It's different, right? Energy can be not destroyed but changed, and this is what I feel like you've done. You've been the wild woman here, or man, but using the femininity of the feminine shadowy realm, perhaps. Maybe you've done this on your own, behind your own closed doors. Maybe you've done this without nobody else knowing, right? They don't know your process. Maybe you retrieved, and you decided, okay, I own this now. This is my situation. And I will not have that someone has power over me, right? I will not accept that they sit with the key. I find my key, right? Out of this mess, or out of this maze of guilt, or guilt tripping, or thought patterns of being guilty and the worst possible, flawed, imperfect, a sinner, whatever that is. That you own this is my problem. It also has something to do with why did I get so absorbed in this? I allowed that someone else's opinion kind of became my world. Maybe I shouldn't do that, right? Maybe I should not allow something to have that preacher-like dogma on me, that it should control my mind or something, right? That it should dictate my world in some way. So now I sit here, I shift and mold this, like all these belief systems or narratives, I'm molding it and shifting it because I won't have it. You leave me in an unfixable situation. I will not stay in this, dynamic. I take my power back. I own this now. So I mold it, I shift it, I change it, I change me. I change me to have a win here, to overcome this, to like I take my end of the tension away. So now it's on them. Like what happens over here, we don't know that. But you're shifting some kind of situation here. It's very scorpionic. It's this energy thing that is tension, it's energy work here. This is energy work of trying to transform something here. It's a transformative state and needing to do something. I feel like this can be a bit wild, untamed, very rebellious in a sense. Like you could be doing something that is I feel like owning it, like you're really owning this is my problem. And for some reason I've let someone have influence. And now I am shedding that. It's like, I take that out of my system and throw it right back, or I throw it to transmutation. Right? I take it out of my system somehow so that it's not there. Because it has never been mine. It was theirs in the first place. It came from them. It was theirs in the first place. So I take it out of my system and maybe throw it back or throw it up or throw it down, whatever. But I'm definitely taking it out of my system and letting it just be transmuted with God energy or whatever you call in to help you transmute this. But that is what it feels. It feels like something is taken out that never was yours in the first place. Because it comes from over here, which is not you. It's an opposite or a different energy, right? And they have, sent something to you. You took it for valid, and it became a part of your identity, but it's not serving you, right? Especially if you can't undo it. Like you cannot undo who you are, or you can't undo that thing you did. You can own it. You can take responsibility for it. You can decide to change your life, do differently, make a new approach in life. But maybe you will never have the forgiveness of those over here. That could be this sense of like, this is my black spot or my white spot that I can't seem to, or blue spot or whatever, I can't seem to fix that one. And I own it. I own that, well, I can't seem to do differently. And coming to that conclusion, coming to this state, is a sense of victory, you could say, is a sense of, you could say, beating your own demon or something, right? Because maybe you can't fix the unfixable. Maybe you can't do that. But at least you can come to the awareness that I couldn't fix the unfixable and it's all right. Because this world is imperfect. It will never be balanced in a totally harmonious way. And it definitely won't be in my world if I stay connected with this. Then there will always be tension, always be drama, always be differences, always been like accusations or guilt trippings or things like power games or something. And that is definitely not harmonious. That is definitely not what I'm seeking. So I get out of that. I take responsibility for getting myself out of that. By dealing with my own guilt or shame, by looking at it, this is shadow work. It is a big process, I think. Maybe dealing with an opposite. Maybe you have a Taurus here, or someone with strong Taurus in their chart, who is like the opposite energy here. That is, Taurus is also a fixed sign, so you have you being a fixed sign and they being a fixed sign, two very, very strong fixed opposites that probably don't see eye to eye, always. And therefore it's a very unfixable situation, because you're normally quite stubborn on your own. Both of you are. But I feel like there is a big transmutation going on here, a big like molding and shifting and changing, and like looking at all this ickiness, right? And I feel like, like it's like a feeling of taking it out of your system and sending it back, or return to sender, right? Return to sender, or just needing an angel here to help you transmute this energy. Get it out of your system, right? Because it has never been yours in the first place. On the other side here, I get abundance, fortune, wealth, and plenty. Beautiful card here, right? So this is I feel like the result, the right card can usually talk about, the future, or where you're heading, or what is coming in next, or maybe you already feel it, like the win or the sense of overcoming, you could say, your demon, or the feeling of this influence, that you somehow have been able to take it out and kind of send it out of your system. That in itself feels like a win. That in itself feels like nice, good, great here, victorious, right? And it's leading you to what I was calling for in the first place. I said that I asked, the intention for the reading is what is highest best for Scorpio, the most beautiful for Scorpio, the most positive, something helpful, something beneficial, something abundant here. So it is abundant. Like what is happening here is for the highest good. It is for your striving, your confidence, your maybe fortune here, wealth and plenty. But it's about your well-being. It's about you standing in your personal Scorpio power. Releasing yourself here also makes you feel strong, right? If I can do this and build myself up again here, I can do anything, right? I'm actually quite powerful here. I have been up against an opponent, and now I know that I have done this. I can do this again. Maybe you don't want to, maybe I feel like with the wild woman, this is it is a quite explosive energy. It's an energy that it feels a bit like last resort, like a needing to draw upon my deep ocean, right? I need to call in my deepest whale knowledge here, like old, ancient, deep dive to kind of mold this and shift it, right? I need my deepest water here to help me get out of this ickiness, right? This frustration of not getting my way, wanting to fix something, but they are just putting up a wall. And no matter how much you try, you can't seem to break that wall down. So eventually needing to retrieve from it, letting it be, just needing to letting it be, not having your will, not getting it your way, not getting the relief, and actually eventually needing to own that this is yours. This is your problem, that you don't feel relief, that you feel terrible. That is your problem. And you cannot have the relief from them. This is an unfixable situation. This is a dilemma, right? This is a problem if you are on your own to fix it. So it requires something special here to heal it, to deal with it, to fix it. It needs you sometimes to go very deep, to go ways that you have never thought you would go. Needing maybe special healing or even soul retrieval or other kinds of mechanisms to get this done. When the wild woman dances into your reading, she reminds you of the essence of authenticity and freedom. Exactly, right? Your authenticity and your freedom. Divested of all social constraints and cultural conformity, the wild woman holds up a mirror to your essential self, the true essence of who you are and what you are meant to become. She's a reminder of the bright light within each of us that gets dimmed by the restrictions imposed upon us by the expectations of society or others, right? That's what I feel like. She reminds us that in order to be fully present in life, we must uncover that light within us and let it shine brightly, regardless of the perceived consequences. Yeah, this is the resort. Last resort. This is the thing in you that it requires bravery to deal with the wild woman, because again it says here, regardless of perceived consequences. That there is something to be. There's something at stake if she shows up here. There's something to be gained, definitely. But also something to maybe lose here. Like when you activate her, you will not stay the same. Like you cannot stay the same person in this relation. You cannot be the same in this relationship and go through a transmutation of the wild woman. The wild woman is going to, I almost want to say, rip all your puzzle pieces apart and try to put them together in a new way. That's how explosive she is. Like she is not this is not like a little thing. Like she is changing and molding everything here, shifting perspective on so many things. And there is a sense of perceived consequence that when I do this, I will not be the same. I cannot be the same as where I stayed here. I cannot stay the same here and expect a different outcome, right? Something is going to shift. And if I feel pain here and I want to have a relief and I can't have it from this opposite or this opponent or this other character or this other place or whatever this is, then I have to fix it on my own. And to do that, I need to change. I need to change something about me. I need to take all this stuff out of me that was never mine. and find my original light. And when I do that, I'm in the process of the wild woman here. I am molding and shifting something to get all of this icky, mudded thing out of me that is not mine, that has been imposed on me, but it's not mine. It comes from a different perspective. And it has had this kind of dominance over me. So to get my light back, my true light back, my true values, what I stand for, what I want, what I'm looking for, what is my authenticity, to have that, I need to go into this process. And as I say, she can be quite crazy. Like the things she does is out of the book, out of the box. She's, as I said, she could dance naked in the woods around a fire, singing weird songs. You know, she has to move the energy. Like it has to be conducted in a totally different way that she would normally do. That is her spin. This is the way she has to approach herself as the mirror. You know, like she has to be her own self, her own worst mirror, you could say. Her own worst or honest or most authentic mirror, to shun away the things that are not authentic. Does that make sense? So in that process, going back and forth in herself, releasing old programming, all kinds of stuff that is not hers, changing wardrobe, changing hairstyle, you know, she has to go back and forth until she finds herself here. And her own values. And eventually getting to this feeling of, I am through. I managed to do this. And having this sense of, something feels different. I'm not quite sure what it is, but something feels different. Or it feels like I have equaled out the playing field, right? That something is more done or quiet or something. Maybe you're literally, you know, like dancing your victory dance in the living room. I don't know, but, or maybe you have a different feeling. Like, you know, you wake up one morning and it's like, it's just done. You know, like you just feel that something has evened out. Even though you haven't maybe spoken to this person. You haven't had this last talk. You haven't had this, you know, the relieving conversation. But you have somehow managed to do it anyway, without them. You know? And for some reason, what you have done is leading you into abundance. This can be anything. This could be the feeling of relief. Maybe abundance for you is relief because you don't no longer feel the pain, right? So take that how it resonates. Abundance, whatever that is for you. It says fortune, wealth, plenty. Maybe you will have that too, right? But maybe, you know, like there could be a feeling of relief here. A feeling of, again, as I said, like the evened out playing field here. It's like it's evened out. There are not all these kind of bumps. The electricity field between you and something else it's a straight curve now, or it's a straight line. There is no, you know, like big curves and like rotten blocks there to be conquered somehow. It has just kind of, it has evened out. So they no longer have power over you, right? You have evened out that playing field by not staying codependent or not needing them to somehow do something, right? This is very Scorpionic energy. It's very energetic. It's the in-between, right? It's the unsaid, the undone, it's the unspoken, unspoken. It's the between the lines, it's the between the years, perhaps, here. The thing that happened once is maybe years ago. Maybe it's even, I don't know, maybe it's even past lives ago. Maybe it's, maybe you have been in a spin with this energy, this person, more than this lifetime. So whatever you have done here is like, this is pretty amazing energy work here, Scorpio. It's definitely a release. It's definitely a freeing. And being able to, like standing in your own light, like your light, not this other person's light, right? Not their light, not their dogma, not their beliefs, not their worldviews, yours. And showing it, like it could be that you show up with a, like a totally new wardrobe. Maybe you have become, I don't know, she looks a bit, I don't know, Indian to me here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have joined a different religion. Maybe you have become a Buddhist in this process, and you're this other thing that you normally have been in some kind of connection with. Maybe they had no religion. Maybe they were Catholic here. But you have joined a different club, or you have joined, I don't know, you're showing up here as a, like the way she stands is quite confident, dancing here, quite confident, or showing, presenting something here, quite confident, looking great, in this kind of wardrobe, perhaps. I don't know what that is for you, but you know what I mean, right? Maybe you have a totally different style. Maybe you have a different haircut. Maybe you, I don't know, maybe you have gone goth, right? Maybe you have anything that just, after this very wild process here, you have gotten to a place where you feel confident in your own skin. Like this is who you are, owning your values. And it's like nothing can just come now and override that, or somehow make you feel guilty about something. Like if someone wants to come again from over here and they want to project their stuff upon you, it's like you just don't, it won't come in, right? You won't allow, now you have a door, right? Now you have a filter that just says, no thank you. Like this is your worldview, you can keep it over there, right? I'm not dealing with that anymore. I'm not dealing with whatever you want to accuse me of here. For the wild woman here, I get the Knight of Wands here. So the Knight of Wands, we can see how the volcano is erupting in the background here. But it's like, he is on his horse. He is shielded. He has his weapon with him. And he can just walk by, he can just ride by this erupting volcano here. So even if something goes off in the background, even if there's a lot of noise or frustration or fire, as I said, you can feel it from a distance here from someone. Anger or something, It's like he is armored now. He follows a certain code. He's honoring something here. He's fighting for something specific, and he can walk by this erupting volcano. So even if someone is very feisty here and is exploding, they get a rage attack, they show frustration or anger, or they spit something in your face here. You just ride by, right? You don't even lift an eyebrow here about this. That's what I feel like with this knight as well. Like we have two knights here on a horse. That's what it's like. Like he has conquered or overcome something. That when someone becomes very angry or frustrated or bitter, or they send their anger or their fire, their frustration, their bitterness, their disappointment about the world, they send it right in your face. And you should somehow deal with it, right? It's like now you turn your back to this and you ride off in a different direction, right? You don't have to deal with this anymore. This burning matter here. Maybe this is about stress, a stressful environment, a stressful workplace. And you have just gotten to a place where, no, I'm not taking this on anymore, right? I'm shifting. I say goodbye to this. I won't be codependent with something that never changes. Like, this could be like a workplace that keeps up being very stressful. That it's not changing its ways. It stays the same. And because you work there, you just feel that if you try to come in and you want to have, I don't know, maybe, I want to have less hours. I want to work less hours, or I can't, I can't do the same as I used to. I have just recovered from depression or from some kind of illness or something. Like, again, there's this spot about you that this other thing not likes. So let's say you have an illness, or you are somehow, again, as I said, flawed, because you can't work the same amount of hours, or you can't work, as quickly, you're not as efficient. That is maybe the spot, right? That maybe you are not as efficient as the other workers. But instead of trying to make this big thing, company maybe change its ways, maybe you need to get yourself out and seek another place then that is maybe more in alignment with you. Again, I get the feeling of the Four of Cups, where there is something else presenting itself, but you don't see it, right? As long as you try knocking in the doors over here, you don't see this other potential or this other place. You don't see this other person. You're not even opening your eyes to it, right? But for some reason, I get a feeling that you might be opening your eyes, that you have become aware that I need to shield myself from this. I don't want to be part of that anymore. I ride by this. This is not my problem. This is not mine to deal with. I have my own code here, or my own authenticity. I have become this, Knight of Wands here. I've become this Knight of Wands. This is me, right? This is me. here he has no armor on, here he does. So maybe you have felt in this process where you are the wild woman that you needed to armor yourself or stay at a distance, needing to keep a distance to something. But I don't think that eventually you will be able to be around something here without an armor. Maybe you have distanced yourself enough from something here so that you don't need it. You have chosen maybe a totally different environment. This message came up for Libra as well, the Libra reading. That where you actually belong, Scorpio, is a totally different place or with a totally different person, right? So the card I get for the 6 of Gabriel is the 5 of fire here. So 6 of fire and 5 of fire. Usually the 5 of fire talks about a loss. A loss of, in this case, I want to say with the fire, a loss of willpower, a loss of confidence, a loss of go-getter energy, a procrastination. 5 of fire is typically, in my book, a card of childhood struggle. We see her sit here, and she does have wings, but she's not flying with the other butterflies here, right? It's like she shows up like a butterfly, but she's not a butterfly. She knows she's not a butterfly. Again, I have this feeling of I should be a butterfly, but I know I'm not. In some way, I have this flawed thing. I'm a human. This is my flaw, right? My flaw is that I'm human. I'm not a butterfly, and I should be. I should belong. I should be a butterfly. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you had a family situation where the incoming voice over here was that you should be a butterfly. You should fly as easily as a butterfly. You should be as adaptable as a butterfly and beautiful as a butterfly. You should be a ballet dancer, right? That is who you're supposed to be. But you are not. You never were that ballet dancer. You never learned to fly here. Your flaw was that you were a human being who was not a ballet dancer. Or I don't know what this is, but the message here is that there's a certain message that I should belong with this. I should be able to blend in with this, but I'm not. And I never learned to fly like them. Maybe I was more, clumsy. I had big feet. I could never be a ballet dancer. Even though I tried to fit in, I put on wings, I changed my maybe makeup or hair or something. I put on the right white dress here, but it was never really me, right? And this is what you have conquered, right? You have conquered a sense of lack of maybe confidence, a lack of, this can be, someone who, again, I had this feeling of like a flaw of some kind, I'm a failed human, or I'm a flawed human. Let's say you have a diagnosis. If you had autism, for instance, right? You are a human being here, but life is not the same for you as it is for the others here. So the flaw that is something maybe you're born with it. Maybe you literally you're literally missing a limb, or you are born with or developed ADHD, or something. Maybe you have a lung disease, I don't know, a heart disease, something, and because of that you are not functioning. Maybe you are more ill than others. You have more sick days. Maybe you have your speed is slower, right? You have to, otherwise you can't maintain your own wealth or your own health. But for the hungry company over here that is seeking efficiency, you will come across as someone who is inefficient, slow, maybe weak, something like that, and it's affecting your confidence here, and it has been all the way back from childhood, perhaps here. That there is something in your life or with you. Maybe you have lacking eyesight, maybe you are blind, maybe you are deaf, something that could be like your composition, your combination, your human combination, that there's something where you are. It could be your emotions, like maybe someone feels you are too emotional. Don't think about it. Don't take it so personal, that your emotional sea, your ocean is your problem. That your emotional ocean is your problem. I don't know. But if that's the case, I want to say they don't know Scorpio very well then, right? And they are not respecting you. They don't respect your water. They don't respect your depth. Right? They don't expect this. They definitely don't expect this from you. But you are an organic, transformational entity, Scorpio. You have that in you. And maybe they are not quite aware, or they don't want it. Like they project something else. They want you to be a ballet dancer here, right? They want you to be a butterfly. But you are a shark, right? Or you are a whale here, right? That is your territory. Maybe your territory is not air here. That is not your home, right? This is not where you feel you belong. Your territory is water, right? So your confidence could have been like really influenced when you were younger to be something else than you are. And I think you're doing a tremendous job here to try to change this back, to get your authenticity back, to stand solid in your water here and say, but this is me, right? This is who I am. And I'm never ever going to be a bird here, right? Or whatever this is. I'm never going to be what it is you want me to be. I won't be a ballet dancer. I'm not a hawk, right? I'm not a eagle, right? Don't try to make me something that I'm not, and don't make me feel bad about it. I'm a shaman here. I'm an energy worker. I'm a healer. I'm a whatever this is for you, right? This is my realm. This is my place. This is where I belong. If you try to force me to be this, yeah, I will fail. I will fail because I'm not. I'm this one, right? Don't make me sit here with wings and dress me up like a ballet dancer. This is me. Like I'm the rock mama, right? I'm the rock mama here in my black leather pants and boots here. Don't put me in some kind of box here, right? And you are overcoming this. Like you, as I said, maybe you turn goth. Like maybe you decide, I'm going to show them, right? I'm going to show them exactly who I am here. But that's a process. It's a molding process over time to figure out what that is. Like the real you, right? So the abundance card here, for this I get the middle world here from the shaman deck. So the middle world is usually a card of what I call more, you could say, harmony. It's where you would say polarities somehow meet in the middle, like finding a middle common ground about something. But it's very much about you would say there is a sense of a bubble here. Finding a sense zone or a bubble that is your middle world or middle ground where you can, as I said, you're advocating for your own, you could say, release. So you can find a bubble here where you are advocating for your own release. And when you do that for your own, you could say, release sentence, you're advocating and molding and shifting something here to get to a place where you can find, as I said, like a sense zone. In this space, in this place, I will find my sense zone. Or as I said, you could have been struggling with this inefficiency or something like the closed doors, the big mouth here of a corporate business that keeps, asking more of you, but you can't meet the demands. That what you're doing now is that you go over here, and over here you find the middle world. Over here, it's a different thing. It's a whole different environment. This is a sense zone. This is a meditative space. This is the forest. This is where you can go and have like a sense of peace or abundance, or the middle world can even talk about, like changing your standards about something. You're doing that here. In the molding process, you change your standards about something. And you're realizing what is actually truly important for you here. Because the thing over here that keeps asking something special of you, and it's not budging, right? It stands there with closed doors. Either you comply with this or you don't. Or they won't open their doors, right? It's like you want to get in. You try to get in because it's going to tell you that if I can get in here, I'm not flawed. If I can get forgiveness or an opening door, I'm not flawed. I'm okay. Or maybe there's this thing about me that I don't want to accept it. Like, again, maybe it's a hidden thing. Maybe it's something you haven't said. When you seek job, you don't mention it on your applications because you are, again, the resume, the CV that you enclose with your application. You don't want to tell them about this sick period or this prison sentence or this, because it's the spot that you don't want anyone to know about. you know, and you're trying to have some kind of, but it's a secret that creates a sense of tension, right? It's this spot that you can't seem to overlook yourself, I feel like. But if you go over here, this could be an environment that is forgiving. This could be an environment that understands. This could be an environment that says, okay, you were only 5 years old when this happened. But you're not to blame then, right? How should you know, right? How should you know that? Carrying this burden around with you, this guilt or something, is not, you're not supposed to do that, right? It's too much of a burden for a 5-year-old child, right? It's too much of a burden to carry something like that. This could be a person, you know, maybe this is a person that you meet, and when you talk to them, they are like this middle world for you. They see things totally different. Maybe this is a Buddhist, right? They are not a Catholic. So they have different ways of seeing the world, right? They have different ways of understanding the world. They don't see you like a flawed person. There is a place here where you can have the middle ground, where you can find, you know, understanding and acceptance and embrace and everything. In the middle world. The middle world for me represents a different environment with different tunes, you could say, different understandings. It says here that the middle world is the realm of the day-to-day reality and the playground of the living. It is the present moment where everything is happening, yet the middle world is created by the future, not only the past, and it is a mirror of the invisible realm. Again, invisible realm is your territory, Scorpio, right? When things are right in the middle world, heaven and earth support everything. When they are not right, heaven and earth must be brought into order as well. So again, a sense of harmony, right? Seeking a sense of harmony, more bliss. Again, this could be a religious place, and this person could be a priest, right? It could be any kind of religion. It's what is right for you, right? It doesn't have to be. This can be a therapist, maybe. It can be a friend that you meet. Or it can be maybe a scripture. Again, maybe you come across Buddhism or the Tao or something, and you read it, and it's just like, wow, this is my belief system. Like, this is where I belong. This is where I've always belonged. This is who I am, right? I resonate with this. This is in my core here. I believe we all have, the card even here said it as well, that there's this special light in us. We all have something in us. Every zodiac sign fights for something, wants to protect something that is innate for them. Innate for them. Innate for you. And it's like, it should never ever be erased. It should never ever be overridden or domineered or something. You know, it's like a core atom. A true origin. It's a root. It's a seed that is 100% you. And if something is threatening it, or we still want to keep it alive. We still want to keep it there. But maybe we hide it. Wait for better times to put in the seed. Maybe finding a better environment, waiting for the time to be right, or then we hide it and adapt to a situation perhaps, right? But I feel like the middle world is like, when things are right in the middle world, heaven and earth support everything, then there is harmony and balance. And when they are not right, heaven and earth must be brought into order as well. Like it's a place that is the place of harmony or balance or bliss or abundance, as the card says. And it may come from day to day dharma, perhaps, day to day things that you do. Maybe there's something you can do every day here. I don't know, maybe it's prayer, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's going to a certain place, maybe it's a volunteer place, there's something you can do that when you align yourself with your true light here, you will find a certain abundance by everyday chores maybe. But it says here that the middle world is the realm of day-to-day reality and the playground of the living. We are the living, right? We are the living, and we can make our world more of a playground, but we have to decide to do that. We can stay stuck in situations, or we can decide to fight for our right to be free, to be seen, to shine that light of yours. The middle world shows up when conditions are favorable to your undertaking. Do not hesitate, move forward as heaven and earth are smiling upon you. I feel like that's what is here, right? The time is right, so be expedient, but mindful of not being reckless. The world is your playground, and what would require great effort at any other time can be accomplished with ease right now. Yeah, maybe at some point it required a lot of effort, and it was terrible, and you were codependent, and all kinds of stuff, but now it's easier. Do not try to correct in the earth what needs to be corrected in the heavens. The resources to support the change or endeavor you are considering are not readily available to you yet. I feel like that's over here, right? So it's important to ask for help from the invisible realm, and that could be what you have been doing with the wild woman here, from helpers in the upper world. For now, wait. Here I feel like the last thing, it's called the medicine here, and it corresponds very well with the wild woman. The medicine is, what could you do to change a situation if there had not been balance? So that's what you're doing here. You are in your own situation, trying to figure something out. Maybe the wild woman is about, asking ancestors, going to a shaman, working with energies of past lives, healing ancestral karma. I don't know what this is for you, right? Something it can, or your own shadow work, your own problems from your past, your childhood. But you're doing something here, and it's because it seemed infixable or unfixable. So you had to do something drastic here, something that made you immune somehow to what was going on around you. Maybe you had a hard time closing off, maybe to the feelings of others, that you couldn't feel everything. You needed to somehow armor yourself to not be, totally absorbed by the anger in the world, or the frustrations in the world, or the sadness in the world, or the bitterness in the world or something like that. You had to armor up here, learn how to armor up. So at that point in time, you were in your own process with the medicine. But on the other side here, after recovery, you are now in a different place where manifestation is a lot easier. You have also released lower vibrational energies. It should be easier to manifest a different life. Finding that middle world or middle ground, that more harmony or balance in your life, it's a very beautiful card, and I think it comes from day-to-day routines or day-to-day, maybe it could be maybe volunteer work, it could be prayer, it could be meditation, it could be, like a zen zone. Like when I enter this church, it's like I'm in this zen zone where everything just comes together right for me. Or when I enter this Buddhist temple, this is an environment for me that I just feel so connected. It feels so right for me. I feel appreciated here. I feel understood. I'm amongst the right. We have crows here, right? And not butterflies. Maybe you are more happy with crows here, right? Maybe your people are crows. For some reason, I get this like goth, shamanic, fire rituals, smoke, incense, like it's like preferring sitting in the forest with a little ritual fire, instead of sitting in like your neat living room. It's like this place here can be like it could be, like a cave in nature. Like there's a sense of something raw, nature, earthy, like the shamanic, like the underworld, something occult maybe here. It's like I almost like hear the drum, like dum, 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 of like the earth beat, the heartbeat, listening to your breathing, listening to your heartbeat, something very, you say, basic in you, something very deep in you somehow, and doing that every day, coming back to that place every day, where you feel this very like connection with something, right, that is deep and profound and authentic, right, that it's almost like your heartbeat is like a guiding voice or tune into your authentic self somehow, right? This is your beat. This is your heartbeat, right? This is your music. This is your prayer. This is your, something like that. Somehow I feel like there is something going on in all of the readings about this. Like this root, the root of yours, the root tone, the root music here. I said in the, was it the Libra reading, I think, talked about that a lot of music today is made in with a specific. It has aligned somehow over time. It's shifted at some point from 432 hertz to 440 hertz, and the difference between this is that if you listen to music with 440 hertz every day, right, and you like certain music, modern music, a lot of the music today is modern music is made with 440 hertz. 440 hertz is, as opposed to 432 hertz, is different, of course. The vibration is a little bit different, but what it does is that 440 hertz is, there has been certain studies made that show that 440 hertz music increases the blood pressure a little bit. It increases the heartbeat a little bit. It increases, like certain levels of nervous system activity a little bit. So you could say that it's over time, and if you're listening to a lot of music, it could increase your stress levels. It's only 8 hertz that is different, so it's under the radar. For many people, this is not known, right? It's something that, it once, like the 440 hertz, I believe it's like a bit of a programming in society that kind of makes us a little more alert, a little more quick. Like our pace becomes quicker. We become a little stressed, a little more up, you could say, a little more hyped in a way. As opposed to 432 hertz, which should be more aligned with earth energy, like original earth energy. I don't know, well, it's a study, right? You can take this information or just throw it out. But some say that 440 hertz is stressing the body a little bit. So if you are a bit of a sensitive person, you pick up on stuff, you could feel this. Like this could be, and there's even a claim that the 5G internet grid that is around the world is even increasing this more. Like it's increasing this, you would say, tension, this field of electricity around us even more. So there could be a heightened frequency on Earth right now that is not in alignment with the original state of our human body nature. But it also means that if you align with this energy, this now becomes your normal. Like this a bit increased level of stress maybe. If you have sleep problems and something, there could be something found in this for you perhaps. Insomnia, a bit more edgy, a bit more on guard maybe, There could be something found maybe in this hertz thing for you, perhaps. And again, I get this feeling of like the drum beat, the slow drum beat of Earth. Earth actually has a vibration. Earth has a hum. Earth, the earth we live on, has a hum. And that hum has been kind of overridden by some of these other, you could say, or it's in a competition with these other hertz, you could say, But you know, this middle ground, the hum, the drum beat, the heartbeat, your original heartbeat, you can get back to that. You can start listening to maybe other kinds of music. You can look it up on, well, on I don't know, Spotify or something. You can look it up on the internet as well, that there are artists that have always and only recorded music in 432 hertz. I know Prince, the artist Prince, has been doing that, I believe. But please look each of the lyrics up, or each of the music titles up. I believe Celine Dion did that. Elton John, Phil Collins did some of this also. And there are probably others, maybe classical music as well. So if you are interested in looking at this, maybe to help, if you are in this process still, right? If you are still here, maybe that could help you align a little bit more with this originality of yours, your drum beat, right? I don't know what it is, but I know that if you listen to 432 hertz, it's definitely lower. Like it's a slower. It should slow your heartbeat down. It should slow your stress levels down. It should help you, like playing out the equal out the playing field, right? It should give a little more relaxation to something. So I don't know if it could help you, right? But there is something to be found in that perhaps as well, especially if you are still here with the wild woman, trying to figure out how you can give yourself a sense of relief here, or find a way out of this thing that you have, this spot that you are somehow, that is seemingly unfixable. You're trying to find your way around it, to somehow not be so influenced by it, right? And I think it seems like there is a success. This is the center card, so this is quite important in the entire reading. This is what it's all about. This could be what you focus on, what you have your mind set on, that you want to overcome something. And I think it's great that you want to overcome something. It's just, if you have that focus, I want to overcome this. It's when you want to overcome something, it's because it's still a problem. It's still a problem. Otherwise, you don't want to overcome it. So when you think like that, the universe would say, okay, we sent her more, or him more of that then. He has to overcome something. She has to overcome something. We sent that. We keep sending this to you. If you start thinking, I have overcome this. I am now healed. I'm on the other side. I am complete. I have made the puzzle piece. I've found the missing piece, or I am the missing piece, and I complete the puzzle piece. So I am a complete version of myself now. I have everything that I need. I have found this original light in me. If you start thinking like that more, you are done with the search. You're done with the attempt of solving something. You have actually solved it. You have gotten to your end goal. It is done. It is history. You are there. You are at the finish line. You are actually over the finish line. You are in a new round now. You are in this round now. You see the difference? Like it's If we try to overcome something, it's because it's still a problem. It's still unsolved. It's still... when you start saying this other thing to yourself, even if you in the beginning you don't believe it, or you still feel, yeah, but it's not done. I still feel, yeah. But this, like, to use this statement as your mirror, it's going to show you what you need to do to get to the finish line. It's going to show you the last puzzle piece. It's going to eventually show you what you have not released yet, what you haven't figured out yet. So when you start saying this to yourself, I am complete. I am whole. I've fixed it. I'm another version of myself now. I've gotten to the other side. I'm free. I've given myself the key to unlock or relieve myself. I am on the other side. I'm healed. That statement will mirror what is still to be done, or what you have not yet done, or what you have not yet completed. And that is a process where you go back and forth. But keep your mind on this. This could be like a manifestation that you keep your mind on that, instead of keeping the mind of I want to overcome this. Yeah, as I said right from the beginning, what you want is maybe not best for you, in the sense that you want to overcome. So it means that you are still the warrior on a search here. Then you are still in this process where you feel the problems and it's still affecting you, but you haven't, you haven't conquered it yet. It's like you haven't distinguished the volcano yet. It's still active. You can still feel it. And as long as you can still feel it, you have to conquer it still then, right? You still have to find a way out. What you want is actually this. You want it to be gone. The way you get it gone is by saying it's gone. By saying you're over it. By saying it's not, that you have distinguished it. You have closed it. You have closed that door. You're not seeing it anymore. You don't see or feel or hear it anymore here. You've gotten it out of your life. It's no longer prominent. It's no longer domineering. It's not there. That's the way you get it out. That's the way you retrieve it out. It's gone. It's out of your system. By saying that it is gone. By saying you are on the other side now. By saying you've conquered this. By saying you're not a victim, you are a victor of this situation. That is the manifestation. This is the mantra, right? That is the mantra you need. And when the universe hears you saying that, Scorpio is on the other side. Scorpio is fixed. Scorpio is whole. Great. We send proof of that, right? We sent this. We sent something to confirm this. So that could be this, right? You meet new people. You find this place. You find a new environment. You find a new workplace. We are sending opportunities. Again, this feeling of like the cup that is coming in. Right? When you focus on, I have to overcome this, I have to fix this, you won't see the new thing that is coming in. But when you have decided, oh, but this is done, I have fixed this, I have put a lid over this, this is kind of contained, it's not really something that is bothering me, so now I can actually look up, I can look over the scenery, over the field, I can think new thoughts, and then it's coming in here. So we can actually block our own progress. We can block our own progress by the way we think. That we think we have to fix something before we can have it. You don't necessarily need to fix it. You just have to think that you have it. That it's already here. That the new opportunity is here. Your freedom is here. Then you are aligning with it more. But that's not how we're not raised to think like that. And it may take a while, depending on what you have to deal with here and how aggressive this is. A volcano is usually quite aggressive, right? It's loud. The ashes fills the sky, takes the sun away. It's a massive burning lava here. It's major fire burns, right? It's not a little thing here, whatever this is. It's not a little thing. It's not a little secret. It's not a little, this is like a big thing. When a volcano erupts, it's a big problem or a big show, right? And potentially dangerous. As I said here, there could be perceived consequences by looking at something like this and learning to walk by it and not seeing it as your flaw here, whatever that is. Maybe you have temperament issues, right? Maybe you have anger issues, and that is the spot, that is the flaw here. That is the thing that keeps you being, the bad one, something like that. Maybe you can use this temperament for something else. Maybe the 6 of Gabriel here talks about that you have managed your temper, that you have gotten it under control. You know now what to do when you feel that you are somehow exposed or that you are in a powerless situation somehow, right? You know now where your anger comes from. You know what triggers it, and you know how to control it or get out of it. That could also be what this is, right? And it's giving you a much more balanced life, right? It gives you a life that is maybe, the highs and lows here are, or the good and bad here is not so big. It's more in the middle, and easier to deal with. The ups and downs, right? Or the it becomes more of a more harmonized or more in the middle and easier for you to deal with in life. Some of this usually comes with age, like having a big temper, difficult to control, a lot of passion, a lot of will towards something, and not getting your way is, it can be difficult to handle. But I think that this could talk about a little bit about, I don't know, aging maybe, like over time it becomes different. It could be that you have walked by this burning lava here many times. You have tried it many times where your temper flew out. You became this troll, and you have tried it many times and not knowing how to temper yourself, perhaps, right? Or someone else. You could be in a dynamic of someone over here, right? But now you're walking by it, and you're just letting it burn there. You're just letting them be angry or whatever. You just walk by. You learn how to walk by. But that comes with maybe, age, or maybe it comes with therapy, some kind of help here, some kind of change. Maybe it comes with a sense of distance. You distance yourself from something. And you don't have to fix it. Again, it could be something that maybe you can't fix the volcano here. You don't have the control to fix volcano. The volcano can be, as I said, this could be a workplace, a boss or something. It could be, something that is out of your hand to control. So why try to fix it? Sometimes we can fix things, even though we want to. Sometimes we can have peace with certain people, even if we want to. Is it in your best interest to try to get peace with something that doesn't want to? Or would it be in your better interest to work on finding your own peace? And knowing that this volcano will keep being a volcano. I can't do anything about that. But I'm walking by this now. I just pass by. I don't get involved. I will not look at it. I will not be drawn to it. We could talk about drama here. That there can constantly be drama around you. It can be very consuming. You just look on social media or YouTube or any kind of, there's a lot of information going on there. I even have my channel on YouTube, right? So there's a lot of information going on. We can be totally overwhelmed by all that kind of stuff, all that narrative, all that stuff. And is it in your best interest to look at it? Is it in your best interest to be concerned with it here? Or is it in your best interest to not even have it in your life here? Whatever this is, can be anything. This can be an addiction, right? That you keep feeling the urge, the draw, the pull, right? Could be anything. But that could be this sense of flaw, this spot that you would like to erase if you could. Like this could be the sense of a voice, right? That keeps, having a spot. Now I get, from the Lord of the Rings, the Mordor eye, that flaming Mordor eye, that keeps looking for, what is he called? The little hobbit who was in secret carrying the ring, right? So Mordor is constantly looking for it, right? This eye that keeps, that is the Mordor eye in the background here that is constantly, and it has this pull, it has this, it's difficult to resist it, right? It's difficult to resist it, and it's also difficult to avoid it. Like there is this, a consuming eye that pulls you in, that Mordor eye that just scans everything, right? But just remember what it's about. It's about power, right? It's about wanting all the rings, wanting the ultimate power. It's a hungry ghost that keeps just like a black hole sucking everything in, right? Something like that. And you are kind of trying to work your way through this all-consuming eye, that wants to have power over you. It's like fighting a demon, I feel like. That's what I feel like it is. It's definitely fiery. It's definitely, I feel like a sense of underworld tone to it. Doing something weird here, or strange or occult, I feel like. And returning to your authenticity, something that is very you, Scorpio. And there's no one like you, right? You are Scorpio. That's just how it is. No other zodiac can be you. Like, they just can't. They may have elements. Again, you could be a Scorpio sun, right? But you could also be a moon, Scorpio moon. You could be a Scorpio Venus, or Mars, or rising, perhaps, right? I want to say personal planets, Mercury, perhaps. Mercury is retrograding right now. There could be something there as well. But in tarot, you are associated with the death card, death and transformation, rebirth, right? That is your area. That is where you are very, very strong. And you can handle this extremely strange world, or energy, I want to say. You can handle that. I get like explosive energy. I get Mars energy. I get Pluto here, like Plutonian, a bit, like walking on. It's like walking on a lava ground. I said something about in the beginning, walking on eggshells, like you are in a territory where you have to be careful where you walk, right? That it's filled with explosive lava and fire, a lot of frustration or bitterness or disappointment, or maybe rage, anger here, that there's a lot going on here where you're not taming or learning to figure this fire out, right? A fire that has been like problematic to handle since your childhood, where it was maybe repressed, and now it's, it's coming to the surface, maybe having a difficult time handling it, especially in this phase here. It will be better, right? The Six of Gabriel is here, so there's definitely a process, Scorpio, of getting to a place of wholeness, I feel like. Getting to a place of success here. Without a mask, right? Without the mask. Without a fake prosthetic, right? Without, you're not needing to dress up here. You're not needing to, you're not needing that. You can be goth and own it, You can be, you can fly with the crows and own it, That is you. You can be that. That vibe. You can be the rock mama. Or the punker, or you can be that one if it feels right for you. Don't have to be, right? But you can own this, you are very passionate Scorpio, and your passion concentrates around something specific. And owning that passion, right? Owning that I concentrate on this. This is my heart. This is my seed. This is who I am. And if someone really is challenging this, they don't really love me, right? They cannot love me if they are constantly telling me I'm wrong or I'm bad or something. Because I'm not. I may have different opinions, but it doesn't make me wrong or bad or something, right? So it's like you standing your ground, maybe they are standing their ground, but it's like, then we must agree to disagree. But that can even be a problem, right? If you want to be right. Like if you want to convince someone about your truth and they want to convince you about theirs, and you can't seem eye to eye, it's an unfixable situation. None of you will give. None of you feels that your truth is less than the other. You stand in your truth, they stand in theirs. And actually that's all right. It's just opposites. Like it doesn't mean that they are wrong, right? It doesn't mean you are wrong. It just means that they are different than you. They have a different seed. They have a different inside core. They have something they protect, something that is vital to them, and they can't not protect it. As you cannot not protect yours. Like you have to. It's your core, right? They have a core, you have a core. They're different. They're not aligned. No matter how much you try to align it, it probably won't work. So you figure this out on your own, right? That's what I feel like is here. Or it is coming. Maybe you're still in this phase where it's still icky and strange and, having a hard time maybe dealing with learning to deal with the fire, right? The exposed fire here. Maybe someone is raging. They're very, very angry with you. And you're learning to pass this by without reaction to it. Sometimes there are things we can't undo. And if they choose to lash out, if they choose to be angry, it's their choice. I don't know what the problem is here. Of course, you could have done something hurtful. You could have abused them. You could have, been hitting them. You could have been doing something criminal. You could have been backstabbing or manipulating them. And I'm not saying whether you had a good reason for that. I don't know. It's all up to you here to figure this out, right? I just paint some kind of scenario that I feel like I'm tuning into. So in this place, there could be remorse. There could be regret. That could be, feeling like the worst person ever, realizing certain things you've done, realizing certain things you have been part of. Even things you've done to yourself because you believed, like you got domineered by some kind of voice here. And because of that, you did things. Maybe things that even harmed yourself. And you still have to get to, you still have to get to a place where you can own all of it. Yeah, I did that. I did what they wanted. But when I did that, I also hurt myself. I actually did that to myself. And, getting to a place of self-acceptance about this, self-forgiveness maybe even, like knowing yourself at the core. But I also feel like after such a deep dive, it's like this cannot happen again. Like nobody can come in and try to, send things to you, and you will become overwhelmed by it again. No, it's not going to happen. Like you will get yourself out even before like it ever gets to like a big message. You will tune in on this very quickly, and you will decide, oh, this is not for me, right? I'm going in this other direction instead. Because I don't, like, if this is a matter of will, do I want to pursue that? Of course you can do that. If you want to, win by all means, or you can decide, well, maybe this is a tie. We will never find a common ground. I choose to use my energy differently. It's up to you. I know you can be quite passionate and very fixed or obsessed when you like really get into something. So maybe this is about winning for you. I just feel like I get more a feeling that you have conquered something. You have conquered, maybe your inner demon is the obsession. That you want to win, like you have to get that victory by all means. Or you have to get that relief by all means. But is it really in your highest interest or your highest best to keep being occupied there? Is that best for you? Maybe it's what you currently want, but is it in your best interest? Like you can be occupied here for years if you want to. Decades maybe. Is that really what you want? Because, this can be an ongoing nemesis that you will never ever get them to see that. It's this idea of painting a picture, right? And there's just one place that just seems like it never gets right. And we can become obsessed about this little place, this little thing in the painting where you don't seem to get it right. We can obsess about that. But what about all the rest that is actually quite well, that's actually quite good, that is actually quite successful, that is actually quite well done, that is actually quite beautifully painted? Maybe we should concentrate on that as well, right? Maybe we shouldn't put that much focus on such a tiny little thing that just is like this obsession that just keeps nagging us. Because it nags us, is it worth all your attention? I don't know, Scorpio, is it? You decide on that, right? This is what I have for you, Scorpio, this time around. I wish you the very best out there. I send you love and light always. Bye-bye.